Marla and Dave radio experience begins in 3, 2, 1.
Now, if you're ready, we will begin.
Welcome to the Marla and Dave radio show. This is reality radio with a couple that keeps it real. Current events, pop culture, music, relationships, fitness, the hot topics of the day. Marla and Dave Thomas. This is the Marla and Dave radio show. Real radio. Turn it up!
Welcome to the Marla and Dave show. I'm Marla Thomas.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. You had the jump. You had the jump on me today.
I know Marla Thomas.
Hello. My name is Marla Thomas.
You had the jump on me today. Anyway,
you may not recognize
welcome to the
me.
Marla and Dave show. We are here with plenty of guests.
And I am the secret. I'm the secret seventh member of Dixie.
Okay. Yeah.
Wait, I'm the
not
secret
talking like
member,
that.
maybe.
Anyway, we have a great show planned for you today. We're talking about iconic, the #1 contemporary jazz album in the country.
We're not, and we're not just. And you know what? Because I like to spread love. There's one. I got this in here. I did it.
All right.
We couldn't do that with just a family. Take 6 fam. We had to also bring a renowned, also a critic that has a valued voice in music. Somebody who is a songwriter, a producer, a musician, plays several instruments,
plays them all,
everything but the harmonica.
Yeah, I don't play harmonica.
Yeah, there you go.
Might
See,
get down there,
first
give
of all,
about 10 minutes.
I want to tell you guys how. I want to tell you guys.
Need it on the record.
I want to tell you guys how good I am at that. I threw that out there. It could have been wrong. I actually don't. My brain said maybe not that.
Yeah, Stevie Wonder's playing the harmonica on the last record.
Right, there you go. That's a good view.
You didn't even say who it was. You just got all the accolades.
Erik, Blu2th, Griggs joins us as well in the studio today.
Hey.
So I just want to say this today for all those who are listening. We all know music moves the world.
Yes.
Great music changes your life.
Yes.
So without gifted musicians like all of you guys, the world would go silent, and we can't have that. So today in the Madhouse, this is the trifecta.
Exactly. And we didn't mention my boy Claude McKnight in
well,
the house.
I said,
she was taking a long time to get to it. Man, I almost fell asleep.
First of all, you introduced family last. This is what we do. Anyway, I'm happy to have you guys join us in the Madhouse.
Happy to be here.
As Dave said, this is a momentous occasion on a couple of levels musically, but we're going to talk about what you do, who you've done.
Whoa. I don't know. Wow. I don't want to talk about that.
It's going to happen right here today. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't move. Get your mind out the gutter. We're still talking about music in this Mad Music Monday.
She did not prepare me for that.
You're throwing us off with that language.
That would have been proper protocol.
One thing is for sure, today's show is definitely going to be iconic. So it's something you want to sit back and actually don't look away.
So I'm looking down here at the document. We usually talk about our week that has just gone past. Marla has down here tennis talk, as if we actually played tennis.
David, you know what you're doing right now is you're not being true.
We didn't really play tennis.
You don't get to heaven this way. You learn better than that.
No. We went out there, and Marla's has, as you guys, everybody knows, Marla's had a shoulder injury for a while now. She complains, and she says what she can't do. She can't really play. She can't serve. She came back out there and started playing tennis, and then we hit the ball out of the tennis court.
Oh.
So instead of going...
But wait.
Two of them.
Can we say this? Before that happened... You had your foot on my neck, which it should have, because my neck is actually vulnerable and weak.
Exactly. And so instead of continuing to hit aces and actually play
he kept playing, though.
Just kind of take it easy.
He did listen, but
Claude.
No,
hey,
Erik,
how you doing, Erik?
Erik, listen. Claude, listen. The score was 5-3 at that moment.
You were winning?
He was. He could have ended it, and I came all the way back. With one arm behind.
What an amazing husband that he would allow you to come back.
Ooh,
he knew he was coming home.
I was playing with my teeth, my racket like this.
Exactly. So at
and
the
I
last
got to
game
5
I'm serving, she says, so instead of going and getting the other balls, because you got to at least have the 2 balls to start the play.
You don't have
of course, you always need.
All you need is 1 ball.
Well, it's kind of like a kidney in that way.
She literally says, Dave, you get 1 serve.
Wow.
One serve only. So, of course,
You got
I
served?
get him in. And she got served, but I didn't let it go.
Please let's
I let
not
it
have
go.
any B2K references here today. Let's let that go. Because
You're
it's
right.
dance.
You're right.
Nothing, no shade. Just no shade. I'm just saying.
And for those of
let's
you
go
who
forward.
don't know, Take Six has been on the Festival of Praise tour,
Yes.
Texture of a Man.
Yes.
We were selling CDs. That's kind of one of the main reasons that we got to number one, because we were pushing that
Wait.
CD.
We did what?
We got to number
Wait,
one.
one more time.
We got to number one,
All
son.
right. All right.
Nice.
Thank you, Tony. But this just in, we are no longer on the Festival of Praise tour. We came home last week.
Okay.
Wait a
this
minute.
weekend was
Just
our last
in
show.
like
We did.
between the car and here, this happened?
You guys really have not been communicating with
No,
me.
she knows.
I'm gonna need you to talk openly to me because I'm part of the. I'm the
no.
silent seventh. member.
No, let me
Member.
help you out. We did this whole tour.
You're
We're
the
done.
eighth
We
member.
did one more show,
Henry.
Yeah, indeed.
and we are
the
all
eighth
the
member.
way done now.
We were literally
Oh, you
gone
so-
since
there's no
March
more.
19.
Really done. Now, I think the Festival of Praise tour is still going on, but
you
Take
got-
Six is not on it. Say it again, Dave.
Take Six is at home, son.
Take Six is home.
Now, hopefully,
Okay.
we get a chance to do it out here on the West Coast. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Okay. All right. Well, let
I
me
guess
tell
when
you.
you're number one, you can do stuff like that.
Right. You just. You just.
Sit at home.
You do what you
Give a
want.
Pow.
brother number one status.
Oh, pow.
Like, I don't need your toy.
Right.
I already sold my CDs.
I'm going home.
Fred. Okay.
No, Fred, we didn't say it like that.
No.
Not quite like that.
Well, you know what? The bottom line is what I do know with the long-standing history, no matter what the tour terms are, the Take Six and Fred Hammond have had a very long-standing relationship. So it's not, I know that there's love abound no matter what for all the other artists for sure.
Indeed.
We had a great time.
Did you?
We sure did.
Okay. Red Table Talk. That's good.
Really?
Yeah, we're
man?
gonna- no!
Really? Red Table Talk?
Can I read those notes before you?
You can't.
Okay.
You can't, Eric.
Just want to glance.
You know, we're gonna talk about how Eric came in soon, but for now, we just want to get through our week. The whole
triumphant
you were
entry.
looking for
Oh.
funeral fans. You had some issues.
I thought you should have them.
No.
Clearly, you're evangelist. You should have the Martin Luther King mortuary fans.
Minister
to be
Marla.
expected.
Did he just call us evangelists? I don't even know what's
what are
going
you
on.
doing if not
I don't even know.
evangelizing?
I'll say this though. I do want to give a shout out to Jada Smith Pinkett because
Jada Pinkett Smith.
Jada Pinkett Smith. Blah 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 blah. You all know who I'm talking about.
Right.
She has a new show, and one of the things that I always complain about is that with all of the popular shows and the things people watch, it is becoming increasingly annoying to me that nobody brings any truth to the table. Life is pretty
Yeah,
dramatic
not
on
really
its
into
own. But she did. So the
That's true.
Red Table Talk.
Huh.
Well,
go ahead.
I started. By the way, stay tuned for my show about Take Six. I'm gonna give you guys some truth.
Yeah, the
Wait,
other thing
wait.
about
Take it
that
all the way
is
back.
You're
I'm
already
just
just
saying.
making a big assumption that everything she's going to say on Red Table Talk is actually
First of all,
true.
have you even seen
Not
the trailer?
embellished. I have seen a lot of the
Okay,
trailers.
it doesn't matter because it is still TV, but at the same time, TV is about exploitation. I get it. That's what the medium is, but at the same time, there's also truth, drama, and redemption in most things in life. So if you just show the drama, then you literally lose the redemption and you don't transform people. People can learn from every experience we've had. Don't get me started.
I think he,
Well, I mean,
he may have.
it's going to be a good show.
I just wanna know why the table is red.
I'm into it already.
Why the table is red.
You don't.
Didn't Richard Smallwood write that?
I don't.
Yeah,
I'll
Minister
Red
Richard
Table.
I'll listen to it again.
Smallwood.
I've heard of a red tent. I've not yet heard of the Red Table till now. Shout out to you, Jada. Good for that.
Anyway, Tony, hit me with my mood song.
Okay.
Sing, Claude.
Sing, Dave.
What's up?
I can only tell the lead. I'm not really in.
Sing, Blu2th. That seventh is sweet.
7.
Yeah, we forgot to hit that last week, so we had to bring it back.
Okay.
that
Tony,
it's
can I have
number
my
one.
mood song,
Classic.
please? Sailing was my song, Dave.
That's true. It's on the document as sailing. This is Tony's mood song.
Tony, could you play my mood song, please?
Ladies and gentlemen, Tony, can I also see the clock if you don't mind? You can, so I have 1 minute to say what the hell. We'll be right back.
No, you have 1 second.
We'll be right back.
Listening to the Marla and Dave radio show on the Universal Broadcast Network. Current events, pop culture, the hot topics of the day. It's time for MaD News on the Marla and Dave radio show. Ladies and gentlemen, Marla and Dave.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the MaD News, the 3 news stories that piqued our interest that we like to bring to you. And by the way, if you're listening today and you want to call in and talk to us about anything or everything, 323-524-2599 is our live call-in number throughout the show. Feel free to call and give us a shout out or, comment or criticize or say whatever the hell you want to say.
So this first news story is pretty crazy. Marla was actually scared as she was reading the story because Katie Holly woke up with a strange pain in her ear. And it turned out that a cockroach had crawled into her ear.
Yummy.
And was thrashing about for 9 days.
Wait. It was thrashing?
Thrashing
Oh
about.
my
It was
It's
like
a roach.
panic.
Is that the word?
It was panic to be in
Thrashing?
there.
That's what they
It
do.
says right here in the headlines, it says thrashed about.
And I have to say that when I saw this story, I have to share a fear with the world. One phobia I have. One.
Rodents.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
So if it
could
was in your ear, that would magnify that
anywhere
to a
near
great
me,
degree.
if I see it, I have a hard time even smashing and killing them. I kill them because in my soul, I've lived by the rule of kill or be killed. And for some reason, I haven't been able to actually separate myself from the fact that a roach can't kill me.
Well, getting back to Katie, what actually happened is she put the Q-tip in her ear, and she was trying to, and she pulled it out.
Okay.
She found 2 little brown things on the Q-tip,
Okay.
and
Roach
then she
wings.
looked closely. They were legs.
Awesome.
She was like, what?
I feel like
Okay,
I can lend something to this
She almost
conversation.
passed out.
Okay, what
she
do you- what?
hyperventilated and had to go to the doctor.
That would not be expected, but this may have happened to me before. Vaguely.
May or not. Maybe or maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe
It
you
may
did. Maybe you
have
didn't.
happened. I may have awakened at
You
one
woke
point
up one
about,
morning,
with my ear. I couldn't really hear really well, and
Thrashed.
yeah, it wasn't thrashing. I don't think it could thrash at that point, but
Jeez.
it was a bug. And
But for 9
my
days,
significant
what-
other at the time had
That's
to
where
tweeze
Claude
it
is
out.
going.
Yeah, I'm like,
she
for
t-
9 days, what was going
She
on?
twos it out of my ear.
Twos.
So
Twelve
she
it.
actually
grabbed-
pulled it out.
Yo, she
Excuse me?
grabbed some tweezers
Can we-
and twos it.
Can we stop? Can we stop right there?
Yeah.
Can somebody? Do we have a team? Does anybody in our? Do we want to look up the word twos?
It's like
If
tweezed.
you can tweeze, clearly the past tense would be twos.
Tweezed.
No.
All right, this next story, and I'm sorry for that Bluetooth, Eric. That is
I mean,
very
That's terrible.
I
very,
just got over
traumatic.
it last year. It's about
traumatic.
15 years ago.
I was almost feeling bad for you till you said twos.
I went to
and I just got out of
Ayanla
it.
and we took care of it.
So,
my life by
in
helping me get
Aurora,
the roach out of my
Colorado, a woman actually walks into the 7-Eleven and she has like a bottle that's sealed up, puts it in the microwave, but it explodes.
Okay.
By the time the guy got over there, the attendant says, "Man, what's that?" And she walks out. Turns out she had exploded a
Bottle of urine.
in the microwave.
Why did she put it
Let me tell you why. Because if
there's an
anybody
answer.
knows that you're tripping, let this be a cautionary tale for all Christians.
Wait,
When it comes time for you to go to heaven,
because
hold on.
we know you were about to do that.
Hold on.
Okay.
You don't. God sees it all, and if you think that you're gonna have to, that she was afraid of an actual urine test, passing a test for something that she had to submit her urine for, so she was gonna boil the urine in the microwave, and it blew up, and the police were called because now we cook our food here, and now your urine, you pissed on everything. It's not
Yeah.
right. That's why. So you can't run, you cannot hide. Just get your life right, pray now, accept Him as your Savior, and go to heaven. You don't need to be boiling stuff.
That was a reach.
She
So
pissed
the- yeah,
in
that's
and
a
then
big reach.
got pissed on and then pissed off.
God and everything.
I'm just
into
trying
it.
to say.
She pissed every preposition possible.
Yeah, that's funny. That's a play
In
on
on
words
and
because
off,
the
yes.
clerk was pissed.
All right,
Anyway,
so hilarious. So last but not least,
the Kentucky Derby was run this past weekend. Justify stole the show. But the big story ended up being, along with Justify and their team winning the race, is that a woman from Austin, Texas, put a bet down for $18 on a series of like races that come before the main race. She won $1.2 million.
I'm sorry, what did she bet?
$18. She is my future ex-wife.
And that's the MaD news.
That's planning.
We'll be right back with the show.
Can you handle the truth? This is modern American dialogue in a mad world from two unique, fresh, transparent perspectives. This is the Marla and Dave Radio Show.
All right, 323-524-2599 is the number to call. The Take Six universe, everybody out there, we're going to take all questions iconic, but first,
we want to introduce the newest. See, here's the thing. There are people who aren't strangers to the Madhouse, and then there are people who will never be strange to the Madhouse again. But and Erik, today you are our esteemed Madhouse virgin. Welcome.
Wow.
We would. Yes, welcome.
I will always remember my first time.
Thank you. We need that to be the case because you will find yourself in the seat more often than not. As a matter of fact, I was going to ask today, Erik, because there was conversation in the past with the guys gone. I think Dave came back because he was tired of people.
Well, six of us were gone. Yes.
Well, I think Dave, as a MaD host here at the Marla and Dave show, got tired of people sack surfing in his seat. So he came back.
Surfing.
Wow, but today, I think at some point, it is, Claude. But I think that I would like for Dave to actually come out of the host chair, and we'd like to ask Erik to take your seat today, because I'd like for you to also join me in being instrumental in the questions that we ask as musicians as my co-host.
Well, I have been known to be musical and instrumental.
So I think that Dave, are you willing to let Erik?
He can't sit in this seat.
You don't
he
let
can actually interview me from that chair. That's what's up.
So you don't move.
I don't move.
Your sack is, you have a fixed
No,
sack.
but I appreciate Erik, and I would have loved for him to be a co-host.
So Erik, today you're going to join me?
When he's out of town.
No, now, today. You're going to join me.
Yes.
You and I are going to kind of lead this because, as well as we first want to interview you and find out, we want our audience to know more about you musically. So talk to me about, there's one thing I found out about you that I actually sent you a message recently in preparation to prepare you to come to the show, and you said...
I don't think I'm prepared, but go ahead. I don't think you've already said some things I wasn't prepared for.
You weren't ready?
Go ahead.
Well, yeah, what I wanted to say is you said, I'll call you back, I'm in church, and I wrote you back and I said, wait, are you Seventh-day Adventist? Right? Did you get that message?
Wow, went to Oakwood and everything.
I didn't know
if you're
that.
not Seventh-day Adventist before you go to Oakwood, definitely when you leave.
Hey.
Because you can't do nothing.
So let's talk
I was
about...
on the organ at the time.
You play the organ?
I do.
So what don't you play? That's the main thing.
The harmonica. We spoke about.
Okay, that's the only thing that you don't play.
Yes, the harmonica.
Do you play the drums too?
Yes.
Wow, so you can just hold down the whole rhythm section.
Most of the time.
There you go.
Yeah, drums would be my weakest instrument, but I can handle it.
So give us a rundown, a roster of everybody that you work with.
Ooh.
He'll be here for a while.
Well, the illustrious Take Six.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yes.
We did have a little bit of a outing into the studio the other week. Dr. Dre.
Nice.
Boys to Men.
That's what's up.
I did No Air for Jordan Sparks and Chris Brown.
Oh my goodness, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I try to sing that in karaoke and fail all the time. It's awesome.
Thank you very much.
It's a song that
I appreciate you doing that.
Singing or failing?
I appreciate both. Yeah, I mean, failure is the way to success. Although we don't ever necessarily expect her to succeed singing that song.
Oh, come on,
anyway,
Erik.
Okay, so, yeah, who else have I worked with? Anybody?
You tell us.
Tyrese. I played on the Dreamgirls soundtrack rather extensively. And other soundtracks.
Okay, so I'm just gonna jump right into this.
Yeah.
When at any point did you tell me what that spark was, that inception for you, where you said, you know what, I'm not just musical. Music is going to be my actual career. Music is going to be my life. I'm a musician, and I'm gonna make a living at it, and this is what I'm gonna do.
I don't remember that moment because it was way too early for me to remember. I played the piano kind of since I was 18 months old.
Right.
Wow. I didn't have a playpen I had
18
a piano
months?
bench. I didn't have anything with walls where the kid has to stay there because there's actual enclosures. I just had a piano bench. She would put me on the piano bench and go clean the house. And she knew when she got back, I would still be there. This is me at 18 months. So I would just be like touching the keys. I wouldn't bang on it. I would touch it and listen, like actually trying to see what's going on here. That was and then after that, there was never a time when I didn't play.
So did you take formal lessons?
For like 6 months.
Wow.
For like 6 months of my life.
Like
and
18
then
months
at 18 months.
to 2 years old.
Now here's some, no, immediately upon starting piano at 18 months, I went right into collegiate pianisticness.
The conservatory.
Right. So, and then a lot of people don't know. A lot of people know that I dropped out of school, but a lot of people don't know that I actually dropped out of school twice, which I'm very proud of. Yes, this is most people
Just
don't drop
absolutely
out
delinquent.
twice. Yeah. I decided to drop out again, so I had to re-enroll in order to do so.
Wait. When you say you dropped out of school, tell me what that means. Does that mean college or?
This is Oakwood College.
Okay, so you dropped
this
out
is
of Oakwood.
Oakwood
Yeah, me
College.
too.
That's okay then.
Yeah, everybody drops out.
I mean, that's why I went. I went
happened?
so I
To
could
drop
drop
out.
out. And then I want to drop out so bad.
So it has to be part
that
of your
I
story.
went again.
So you could do it
just
twice.
so I could drop out.
Because you wanted the record.
Yeah.
Right. You
See,
don't want to just be an average
I'm the
dropout.
first black musician to drop out of Oakwood College twice. In the history.
I love it.
This is Black history.
At least you didn't get kicked out.
What's crazy about
no.
that is, at this table now is represented. There's Take Six. We've got Erik, Blu2th, Griggs. We'll get to the Blu2th thing. Okay. But what would you prefer? Can I just call you Erik? Or do you
Either
want to
way.
be called Blu2th?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, Erik. So I'm going with Erik. We've got Claude's brother Brian, Virtue.
Yes.
Shalea.
Yes.
So basically, what I'm
Natalie?
saying is Natalie Cadet. She didn't go to Oakwood.
Yes, she did.
Did she? Oh, she did. Okay, whatever.
Chris Willis
Wow.
went to Oakwood.
Chris Willis.
Chris
Absolutely.
Willis.
Clifton Davis
welcome.
went to
Yeah,
Oakwood.
Yeah.
Clifton Davis.
Little Richard went to
Yep,
Oakwood.
that's true.
Indeed.
Sounds
Cats went to-
sounds
Of course,
like
if you
I met
think
him at
about
local
it,
college
so
church.
did Prince, Al Jarreau,
And Kirk Franklin.
Kirk Franklin.
And Kirk Franklin. He was raised Evans.
but he didn't go to Oakwood.
I mean, he went to the campus. And,
No, was he ever enrolled in school?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Erik wasn't either. Apparently.
Obviously, he was bucking it with all his might.
Been.
No. Okay.
No, I went twice. I went for education, and I said, I'm going to teach,
paused.
but not like this, and I do. And then I went to computer information systems because I was like, okay, that's something that I'm interested in, and did well at that, and then
So
quit.
what was the deal with you? Was it your family who was pushing you to be at Oakwood, or were you did you really just enjoy?
Nobody was really pushing me to be Oakwood. I was really more at Oakwood for the Oakwood experience, which is a thing.
right,
You know, most of the lifelong friends that I have came from Oakwood.
right.
And I was in Huntsville, Alabama for 9 years. I just went to Oakwood twice during the beginning of those 9 years.
Okay.
So when I went back, I went for piano performance because it's the only thing they have related to what I do.
Right.
And did well at that too. Came in at a junior level after having like 6 months of piano lessons as a child. And it was cool, but it was preparing me to be a concert pianist.
Right.
And that's just not at all
Not
what
your
I'm
thing.
trying to do. Yeah, no.
So did you have a hard time in literally immersing yourself in anything secular? Because we all know what it's like to grow up.
No.
Adventism, for those watching, is a very rooted but yet very conservative religious denomination. There's nothing else I can say about that. It's very conservative. It's super conservative.
Yeah.
And secular music is not something that is embraced. It hasn't been in the past embraced at all, even if you're not, singing booty bit.
Okay. I think I just
Can't control yourself.
I
Anyway,
might wanna
we were
answer before
we
the
were in the
questions over.
studio with Dr. Dre, and I had known Erik as a virtuoso on the guitar.
Oh, Lord.
Matter of fact, he helps me out. Matter of
not
fact,
a
he's my
virtuoso.
guitar teacher. He just doesn't fully know that yet.
Who, Erik?
Yeah.
You know what I'm finding out about you? This is between Erik now and Frank McComb was in here.
Hey, Frank McComb.
Are you stealing? Are you just like taking licks from everybody?
I'm
Okay, wait,
trying
hold
to.
on.
What did you steal from Claude?
I'm
He's right here.
trying
He's your
to.
brother. Tell him right now.
Let me address that.
Okay, exactly. You stole that from
Where
Claude. You
Claude
should
stole that
apologize right now.
Okay,
Hey,
Right
look.
there.
I didn't steal it.
this is-
It's all mine.
Well, Claude, you can confess
Claude
later. Right
actually-
now,
yeah,
Dave's
you
admitting
didn't
his own
license
transaction.
that for radio.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? He gets gets royalty. I'm hoping
need
that
to
Houston
license that
actually
from Claude.
gets themselves together because Claude and I have a bet on the NBA finals.
Yeah, but just
anyway.
to
Sure
address
do.
that, I mean, musicians, any type of talented people, that's what we do. Like that's literally how we
Okay,
grow.
don't say we like I'm outside of the talent. I don't sing, but I'm talented as hell,
Wait,
Eric.
Your
talent is hell.
Doesn't we
Anyway.
include everybody?
Wow.
Doesn't we?
That's what we do.
Don't we?
Just to address it.
What I was
That's
actually,
we do.
what I was
including
trying to
everyone,
say,
do is we steal from each other. That's how we grow.
we call it transcription. But what I was trying to say is I've known him as a guitar player. Then he told me he's actually his first axe is the keyboard, the piano. Then he whips out the bass and starts playing on the track. It's like this
I
cat.
may have done that. Yeah,
This cat does it all.
I remember.
You
that.
did that. Yes.
You did
There's
that.
no May.
Okay.
And you were killing.
Thank you.
So is that if I took away all your instruments and said you can have one,
Wow.
what would be the one thing that because I know that you're a musician, so you're passionate about all of your craft.
Yes.
But I'm
Like
going
a
to put
tool belt,
one
like Batman.
thing.
It's like Batman's
Yeah,
belt.
well, your air's coming out, and you're only
It's
going
like,
to be
do
able
you
to.
want the grappling hook or the gas? It's just different situations.
Well,
you know?
yeah. Well, today,
Can't
which
climb
one?
with the gas.
Well, then you get the hook. Which is your hook? What's your tool?
If I only have one.
Yep.
Ooh, that's tough.
Just one. Just today. What today? What do you feel that you couldn't do without?
That's a toughie.
Today.
I can't do without any of my children.
Sophie, choose.
I'm gonna say keys, but I'm gonna miss some things.
Well, yeah. Lucky for you, this is not real.
Yeah, yeah.
That was pretty
I'm
serious
having
for
some
me.
anxiety.
Right, he did. He went into
My
a
anxiety
sweat.
is real.
He's like those funeral fans. Where are they? We
Yeah,
talked
where's
about
the
them
Martin
earlier.
Luther King mortuary film?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the great Erik Blu2th Griggs, he is in the house. We're going to turn the corner.
Hey,
Yes.
We're going to turn the corner and
Let's
start
turn it.
talking about iconic.
U-turn, if you will.
U-turn.
Hey,
if you will.
I roached
this
all
is-
the way
too
back
This
for
is
that one.
Eric.
I roached back for that one.
You roached.
Don't-
Yeah.
I was going to pound you, but you're going to have to get your grammar straight.
It's like 12.
You can't.
Squoze and roach.
We can't-
reach, roach.
Okay. Do you know that language is contagious, and what you're doing right now is you're bringing the whole room down? It's not right. You're killing.
I
the
feel
room.
like I'm enlightening the whole room. I feel like I'm bringing the level up.
Okay. Iconic. Do you have a tense for that?
A tense for
Iconic. Can we just leave
no,
it?
there's no tense for iconic.
So finally, we've reached the
Well, it's
pinnacle
not-
that Take Six belongs on.
it's
It's
not
like
a
a little.
verb.
Okay, like a pedestal.
Okay, I've always put them on that pedestal.
Really?
They've been there for 30 some odd. How long have you been there?
30
Professionally, 30.
3 years.
Vin keeps saying 33.
It is.
7. It's not. It can't
We
be, it's
signed
like
in
31.
87. First album came out in 88.
Oh, okay. Then
So
it's
this
not.
is our 30th
31,
year.
31st
30th year
30th year.
with product in the
First album.
marketplace.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. Yeah, but Alliance.
Oh.
Alliance. Yeah, that's 1980.
That's what. So this is, by the way, let me tell you
A
guys
lot of
why.
these guys have been singing together since 1980.
This is why it's hard sometimes for people to truly know you, because they know you before, like, you kind of knew yourself. And he's like, people bring out all kind. They bring pictures like,
Yeah,
isn't this you with the slope Gumby hair? Is this who you
Right.
are? Yeah, so that is. So 30. So 30. We got
Man.
married in 1988, and we've been married 30 years, March 25th. So
Applaud that, man. Where the applause, man?
Indeed.
yeah,
Come on, Tony.
Tony, wait,
Tony's lunching.
Hey.
wow. Okay. So I know that to also be the case that 87 for Take Six. As a matter of fact, when you signed your first record deal, you signed as Alliance,
That's correct.
and
Had to change our
they
name.
had to change your name after
Was
the
there
deal.
another Alliance?
In
There
Seattle.
was another. Yep.
Somewhere in the Northwest, somebody had that name. It was a rock group, I think. But it was a regional trademark, so we just said, forget it. Record company said, don't even worry about it. Just change the name.
I thought I was a super fan.
Well,
I
yeah.
didn't know that.
Apparently you're not.
Claude. As a matter of fact,
That's great.
I would have
Erik.
lost Jeopardy that day.
So I couldn't believe when our current record label said, you've never actually had a #1 record. And I was like, man, that doesn't make sense because we've sold
That's
a lot of records.
crazy.
And I'm like, man, that doesn't make sense. But we've always been like #2.
How many
quite a few
Grammys do
times.
you guys have?
10.
10.
We have 10.
10 Grammys.
10 Grammys, and I think 24 or 25.
23. I thought it was 23. It's
24.
24 nominations.
24 nominations.
24
I
nominations.
can't wait till I can't think of how many nominations I have.
Really?
Yeah, when I'm like,
When you're like 20, 39, 37.
nominate because carry the nomination. I can't wait.
Carry it. Doing Grammy math.
Until I have to do that.
Grammy math. I like that.
So here is your chance to ask us anything about the recording process, about Iconic, the project, and I'll get it started because I had a couple of questions that were sent to me. Someone asked me where this record, they said a while ago, I said that Feels Good was, if I had to pick one, was my favorite Take 6 CD. And they said, how does Iconic stack amongst that list of what's my favorite Take 6 CD? And I said, number one, anytime Take 6 is left alone to our own devices, and we don't have input from record labels or anybody else, that's going to be a CD that I like.
Demands.
It's going to be very good.
Demands.
Right.
But the first CD and Feels Good, they were both the first. First Take 6 is number one. It's the first one ever, so it stands alone. No explanation needed. Feels Good was the first CD on our own record label.
Oh,
First
gotcha.
and only, by the way, on our own record label. And so that intangible understanding I think it just kind of makes you create on a different level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's something that you're so looking forward to. This is really, we were left to our own devices. And again, I think the specialness of Iconic is we went back to, we didn't write any of the songs on this project. They're all iconic songs that we have chosen to arrange and reproduce. And so that being the case, I think some of the creative energy that goes into the writing, just everything got put into the arranging and the performing. So I think that, again, plays to the strength of Take 6 because we have a secret weapon known as Mark Kibble, who is the world's greatest a cappella
He's a little too much of a secret,
vocal
if you ask
arranger.
me. People should know.
He's the world's greatest a cappella vocal arranger.
Period.
That has ever lived.
Like I said to someone in Take 6
period.
Universe, I said, taking the mic from your hand and throwing it on the ground. And yes, no, I'm dropping the mic for you because they made a definitive statement about your talent. And that is the one thing I can concur with always is no matter what your journey has been, I even as family and, loved ones of the entire group and friends for all these years, even way before you guys signed a deal, I do believe that there's some things that are just gifted. And it's interesting because I believe that you guys will unfortunately die. And I don't know that your gift will ever be duplicated for what it truly is. You have that thing that is the once in a lifetime, just with all of your voices and how it's meant to be. Yeah. I think you'll die with it. That's the bottom line. And it doesn't mean there won't be other great talent to come behind you, but not to this level, in my opinion. Never. There'll never be another.
Even if it is at the same level, it still won't be.
It won't be the same.
You got 6 parts. You can't reproduce that. It's not possible to reproduce that.
Well, 323-524-2599 is the number to call and talk about Iconic. We will be right back.
Hey guys, listen up. Learn something. 26 years of marriage from 2 unique perspectives equals 52 years of relationship experience.
Excuse me, that's 58 years? Oops, I made a boo-boo.
It's time for Ask Marla and Dave. Answers to your questions about life, love, and relationship based on Marla and Dave's real-life experience. It's about to get real. Ask Marla and Dave.
Take 6 Universe. This is all things Iconic. So today I abdicated an actual Ask Marla and Dave question. Really, I didn't abdicate it. I have to be totally honest. I just...
I
just wanted to use
give
that
me a
word,
signal.
which
I'm
I
not
thought was very
receiving the
impressive.
signal.
The signal is because of the content of our conversation and because we have been getting so many questions seriously online, our Ask Marla and Dave today, I'm going to turn it over to a question from one of your fans about Take 6.
Hey.
Well, another question that I was asked, is there plans for iconic 2, 3, 4, 5, and another iconic. Is iconic now a brand for Take 6?
All I know is I'm on number 2. That's all I know. That's all I know.
I love it.
Singing, of course.
I'm on that.
I love it. And as a matter of fact, we have talked about it as a very good idea. We haven't actually made any concrete plans yet.
I think that there's so much more to explore, and I also threw out there that I think that if there are 3 volumes, the 3rd volume or even the 2nd should be iconic collaborations.
I just feel like that's the case in my case. I don't really know about nobody else, but yes.
Yeah. So who would you? So if you had to pair Take 6 up with one person other than yourself, of course, and that's great. I mean, you're already
assuming that I've already done all the songs.
You did yours. You did yours.
Okay.
And now you need to actually pass the baton off to somebody else that you'd like to hear. What would you? What collaboration?
Arranging for Take 6.
However, arranging, performing. Like what collab would you come up with? Who would you put in the studio with them?
Rochelle Farrell.
I've heard that at least 4 times.
We
performed with her, yeah.
Yeah, we did.
We'll talk to you later, Angela.
Moody's Mood with her.
Ooh.
We sure did. We sure did.
Well, that's so you did a live performance, but you don't have anything.
No, that's
we
recorded
recorded
on Quincy's juke joint.
Wait, that was Brian.
Brian and Rochelle.
She was on that too.
And she was on there too.
She was on that.
Apparently you're not a fan.
Yeah, you're dropping, buddy.
Yeah, definitely. Now it was super.
So much of a fan.
Then you were just Uber.
I only heard Take 6.
Now you're just at this. Shh.
I couldn't even hear Rochelle.
Okay.
Take
Good
6
save.
singing.
Good
That
save.
has
That
been the
was
Ask
good.
Marla and Dave segment. We're going to get back to the show.
And the Don't Ask Blu2th.
Intelligent, fun, and super real. This is the Marla and Dave radio show.
There's lots of comments. So again, if you're following us in any of our live streaming platforms, always welcome. So there's a statement for Claude in the actual on Facebook, and the statement says, "Tell Claude." This is from Sandra. Says, "Tell Claude, I just love that small part where he goes high on the song Can't Stop the Feeling."
Is that right?
Okay.
Is that Sandra Hawkins?
Come back to us, Claude. Yes. Yes, Claude, come back to us.
Well, I have to be honest. I'm not sure that's me. Is that me?
That's you, bro.
That's like when I listen to Dream Girl. I'm like,
There are
play that
places on
one?
this album where I'm not
I
really
can't
sure
remember.
where my vocal is, or Dave's, or Mark's, or whatever, because we
that's
all
you.
kind of.
That's you.
Well, you know,
Nah,
interestingly
that's you.
enough, with the iconic CD, this whole project, that was one of the things that I found. I'm raw with it, so sorry, but this, if I can get through, if I put the project in when it's done, mixed and mastered, and I don't skip around because I find a favorite. And this is
Right.
one of those. This is one of those projects that I personally am truly and sincerely and honestly playing in my car every day.
hey,
That's for real. Like
Well,
I'm not
for
just
me
because.
as a Take 6 member, that's kind of the benchmark for me too. If
Yeah.
I can listen to our music, then I really, really appreciate it. Like, because you're so close to it from doing all the
Right.
recording that once you're done, you want to kind of get away from it.
Right.
And then
Right.
years later, you listen to it and you're like, man, I really like that. But right from the beginning, we're listening to this one.
So Blu2th and I are going to kind of take this over, and we can feel free now to just jump in with
go.
anything that we want. So I have a question. What would be 2 reasons why that if you just said something profound to me in my brain, if I, as a Take 6 member, that's your own benchmark. So since you are a Take 6 member and founder and also part of the production process, as all the guys really are, then why would you ever make anything that you're not in love with?
That's easy. And I think almost any musician can answer that and have the exact same question. If you're really good at what you do, you're a perfectionist. So you always say to yourself, I could do this better. So by the time you record it and it's etched in stone and you're listening to it, you're like, right there,
Yeah.
right there. It can be good enough, but it's never perfect.
Yeah.
So you're always dealing with
But
that.
what
So-
about
Music is never finished. It's abandoned. You decide when you want to
Hold on,
abandon.
hold on,
that.
hold on.
I like that.
Music is never finished.
That's true. Of
Everybody
any art.
write. Start writing. Everybody write.
That's true of any art. I mean, even painting, you can always, there's another brushstroke that can do something to this thing. You have to, as an artist of any type, decide when to abandon your project and be okay with that. It's a psychological thing you come to. It's a part of maturity in any art.
Do you have the CD?
I do.
Okay, someone's asking for you to go through the songs, and if you can quickly, and go through. It says go through the songs one by one and tell us the recording, arranging, and etc. They want the credits.
Okay, there goes.
Okay,
anyway,
so
guys,
let me just
my job here.
right.
I'm gonna be at the studio. You guys.
I would prefer, by the way, if you're asking that question, and this is Sandra. If you're asking that question, please pick the one song that you don't know, because a lot of the times you download.
I will say this on the Sono Recording Group website and on the Take Six website, that information is there for people who were, especially people pre-ordering and streaming the CD, the songs, and just downloading it versus buying actual physical copy. We have that there for those people as well. So
yes,
which is for Take Six. A lot of people want to know some of those technical aspects and to what it is that we do. That's there. I will say this. A lot of people don't know this is one of the first CDs where, outside of Back in Love, Change the World, and Gotta Get You Into My Life, each member recorded their parts at home themselves.
Individually,
and mailed it in.
What?
Yeah, that's out of control.
And sometimes at the last minute, we were recording in hotel rooms and mailed it in. Yeah.
Wow.
Literally.
That's not,
I was actually notified by someone that there's a shout out of me on.
There is.
In the album.
I read it because I did read the actual thank yous.
There it is. So I just want to personally thank you.
Oh, man,
you guys for shouting me out in the CD.
Yeah, well,
that's what we do, Erik.
That's what we do,
Okay,
man.
I'm sorry.
Can I say something, though? I don't know if the guys agree with that. Had we known that you dropped that Oakwood twice, maybe not.
You may not have.
We might want to, twos.
No, you can't. You can't
Thank
do
you,
that.
Claude.
That's not how it works.
I'm a little
way
dry
to do it.
erase you right out of
There's
there.
a way to do it.
Anyway, it's such and so now. I mean, it's just whatever. You're in the family now.
But not to leave Sandra hanging, I'll start off with Back in Love Again. That was actually, is that Christian's? Christian actually arranged that. I was going to say, is that his first arrangement? But I don't think so. But that's his first arrangement completely alone by himself for Take Six. And I mean, he killed it.
My dude.
He killed it. I love that song.
Nice.
Matter of fact, that was one of my picks for the iconic. I'm not sure if Claude was actually into Back in Love from LTD.
And thank you.
And Claude can speak for himself, but when I was young, I remember my brother had like crates and crates of albums.
Yeah.
And I picked up that LTD project. I think it was that was the Headhunters. Anyway, but it was an LTD. And I put it on, and because I had been wearing out Earth, Wind & Fire just ad nauseum. I was like, I need something else. Put on that LTD. That was the first song I listened to.
Wow.
In Love.
And then, just to give you a little information, it's not that I don't like the song, because I always liked it. I just didn't think it was iconic enough of a song.
Okay, so now here's the question.
controversy. That's what we needed
So I
at
got
that
a
moment.
question for all three of you guys. What is your definition of an icon?
It's what you click
As
on the
far as the
computer
song
screen.
is concerned.
Period.
When
As a
you want to
musician,
open a
what
program.
is what would qualify somebody as being iconic? What does that mean? Is it longevity? Is
An
it
icon defines
sales?
something. An icon defines
like
something.
that.
It's what defines that part of an art. So if you say it's an iconic R&B song, that song should embody everything that R&B means to R&B listeners. That's what makes it iconic.
He's going to answer
It's not even
all
what
the
makes
Can I
it
ask
the
you a
best.
question? Did you pick up all this vast information with one quarter at Oakwood? Because this is
I actually picked up nothing in all of my time at Oakwood.
If you're an alumni from Oakwood, close your ears right now. This show is not for you.
That's
I
a
didn't
good
drop
answer.
out because it was awesome.
That's a good answer. But Claude, what does it mean to you? What does iconic mean to you?
I don't even know if I can do any better than that. That was an amazing
That
answer.
really
But I think
was.
that, there's a worldwide love and appreciation for that artist or that song or whatever it is. I think it has to be, whether it's R&B or jazz or whatever it is, it has to define that genre, and the person has to define what it is they stand for.
Yeah, Dave?
I tend to agree, except music and the arts in general are such a subjective, it's such a subjective field, which leaves interpretation.
Right, always
leaves
room
room
for
for
that.
interpretation. So, what could be iconic to me might not be iconic to Claude or Blu2th. So, right at that point, that's the beauty of it, and that's what kind of calls for a brand of iconic 2, 3, 4, 5.
Who gets to pick?
Feel like it does.
Who gets to pick the leads? Is it the person who wrote the song? You hear the lead being what you want it to be, or does it? How does that work? So if you're arranging the song, or if you are the person who, because in this case you're not writing the songs, but if you're the producer of this song and or arrangement, do you hear who you want to be on that track?
It's pretty much the producers and the arrangers who decide. Yeah.
Exactly.
It depends on the key. It depends on the mood of the song, what kind of tension and release.
Here's
you think
even
you
better.
need in it.
Have you guys ever picked up the phone and called somebody and said, "Look, man, I want you to do the lead on this," and they're like, "Yeah, no, it's not for me." I'm serious. This is a real question.
Yeah,
You
they called me last week,
and you
I was
just you were busy.
Come on, man.
You were busy.
Nobody got
You're
no
like-
time
I
to
think
sing
we've been meaning to call Blu2th.
Okay, meaning
But right,
they
right.
all have my phone number.
Sometimes the network goes down.
All of
Hello,
them.
are you there?
You know what's
Hello.
funny though, to answer that question though, I think there have been times over the years where, because Mark does so many of the arrangements, we will say, "Mark, you should be singing this song or whatever," and he will defer to someone else, to his credit and also to his
does it
detriment.
LeBron.
Right.
He does a LeBron.
Yeah,
right.
It's true. But we have been turned down. I think in my lifetime that I can remember,
Don't do it.
only two artists have
Do it,
actually
Dave.
turned us down.
Truth and transparency, Dave.
We literally came.
I
to,
know one.
Kenny.
I know one.
Edmonds.
Babyface. I was
Uh-oh.
gonna
Yeah.
say. I
The
remember
big
that.
bro.
And,
Okay.
and I walked up to him and I literally said, "Hey man, we would love to
Work
work
with
with
you."
you." And he literally sat there. We talked for like 45 minutes, and he said, "Man, I've been thinking
He can't do you any justice.
I can't add anything to what you guys already did.
Exactly. I
Huh.
remember that.
I cannot bring
disagree with him.
anything to the table.
Now, Linda.
I disagree with him.
The
I
27th.
actually do too.
I disagree with him. I'll
But
talk
I
to him next time I see
appreciate
him.
what he was trying to
No,
say.
seriously. I'll talk to him next time I see him and be like, "Can I arrange one of your songs for you to sing with Take Six if they do another one?"
I appreciate what
Now
he
it's
was
funny
saying.
because we've actually recorded with him
Exactly.
on his album.
Yeah.
But I understand what he's saying, and again, I can appreciate it as well. Who's the other
And
Dave?
you know, yes.
Yeah. The other one was Bobby McFerrin. We literally we performed with him and right before
Well, he don't need you. It's
before we
six
went
of
on
him.
stage. We said, "Hey,
Cannot.
we would
He
love
does
to
it
do
all by
something
himself.
with you."
That's why Dave doesn't need to cheat. He has 5 wives and one.
He paused.
You're
He
the,
paused.
you're
Listen to this.
the Bobby McFerrin of wives. Okay. Okay. Mark's the LeBron of singing. You're the
Right,
Bobby
exactly.
McFerrin of wives. Okay.
Yes, I hate that picture, but anyway, Bobby McFerrin literally, and
Subjective.
we revere everything that he does. I mean, he
Yeah.
is a singer, musician,
From St. Louis, by the way. Just
and he paused and didn't really say
Nobody cares about
no,
no
but he
arch.
said, "I'll tell you. I'll put it to you this way: it's easier to turn a no into a yes." And so we were like, "What did he just say?
And we walked away. Literally, we walked away. We're like,
Did he just say no?"
and he gave you a proverb.
He gave us
sure
a
did.
proverb, and the proverb equaled no.
It was.
But wait, he said it's easier to turn a no into a yes.
You guys just
turn
weren't
it
To
into
willing.
turn a no into a yes. And
said
then
it
he
just
went
like that.
cross-legged and floated up. We never saw him again.
Never.
You decided not to worry
dematerialized
and
in our
just to be
face.
happy.
You know what I mean? So I was like,
Linda wants to know. Linda, it
Hi, Linda.
came out on the 27th. Oh, it's out. So now's the time because
Linda,
yeah,
be a
Grab
fan. Be a fan.
Linda, she's a
Grab
fan.
us since the
She's a fan.
27th.
Linda Davis.
Grab it.
Hey,
this-
Linda, yeah.
hey,
Lesson
Linda,
learned
what's
is
up?
Linda.
Oh,
From
yeah,
from
woo,
yeah.
woo. So this is another question
Not that that
from
defines you, I'm just saying.
probably, I might say, if I had to give the mantle and the prize to the biggest Take Six fan, it would be Michiko. We call her the prime mover. And she lives in Japan, but we have seen her all over the world.
Wow.
At Take Six concerts.
She might be in L.A. right now.
Is
I
she?
know she
Oh,
was here
man.
just a couple
Okay.
of days ago.
I acquiesce.
Yeah.
No, let me.
fine.
Now I
She
have
was
a
at
very.
Merv and David Dawson.
I did see
I
that.
haven't
followed
Yeah,
them
she
around
gave
the
her.
world.
She gave a CD to
Not yet.
Merv.
If you do, I'm gonna be really worried
I
about you.
haven't followed them around the world. So
However, though, my reintroduction, because I don't think had I met you before then. When you say you haven't followed it before Hawaii,
yeah.
because I thought, and this is just Marla's little limited world. I thought that I knew you because I know another Erik who's a musician who would come out to our kickball games.
Yeah. That
So
was,
you were there with Dr. Dre,
Yeah.
but I was trying to get to you because I was like, is this the dude I played kickball with? And I walked up to you and I said, were you on my? Oh,
Marla,
sorry.
I told you we can't talk about that on the radio.
I'm sorry. That
Kickball
you,
is not congruent with my brand.
well, you know what? Unfortunately for you, this is the Marla and Dave show, and
right.
kickball is what we do.
That's a good point.
Just try-
That's what you do.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what we do.
Okay.
But anyway, so yes, that was
No,
very.
people,
So
I'm
so
not
you
the
were
guy
you
who-
were traveling then is the point that I met
was
you
traveling.
on the road.
Yes.
When you were in Hawaii. So
Yes.
yeah, clearly you get around. That's
Yeah,
a
but I wasn't
Digital
following
Underground
Take
song.
Six from Japan, so
No,
I
yeah.
acquiesced to her on that one.
So
Right.
Michiko asked, "What will the iconic tour be like? How many
Ooh.
songs from the CD are the guys planning to perform?"
That's a really good one.
live?
What should we
Great
expect?
question, especially from Michiko. And I'll go a little deeper into it because Michiko has seen us in Japan a million times. And interestingly enough, we've taken the same show there quite a few times. So what she's really asking is,
When
are
y'all
you
the show
guys
be
gonna do
different?
something
Am I
new
going to be paying for
in
the
Japan?
same show
Right.
So-
again?
This is what I can tell her. Alvin and I are going to be formulating the show on Wednesday morning.
Cool.
And
This
in my
week?
mind, oh, absolutely. In
They
my
don't
mind, I
waste
would
no
love
time.
for us to do every one of the songs.
Wow.
Every one
Really,
of the
Claude?
songs. Absolutely.
You're gonna
Do the
so then
entire
you can't call
iconic
an
album.
audible. You can't audible it. You can't do
Oh,
it.
we've
Well,
got
the beauty
we've
of
got
it
30
is
years of songs.
If we
okay,
actually
you
go
can.
right through, we can do that in like an hour.
Right.
So you're gonna
And
like
then
oh.
we can catch some of the highlights of
Absolutely.
our career in the other half an hour.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It'll be like putting the needle on the record.
Exactly.
Well, that actually is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Except I think that you should bookend it with. Can I just jump into this Bluetooth? What
You coming to the meeting on Wednesday?
No, I'm not because I had other stuff to do.
It's gonna be
But-
a country deli. Anyone who wants to join us.
What do you see? Because you saw the last show, which by the way, I will say this again. Like the CD, the one thing I tell everybody is, if you think you're impressed with the Take Six CD,
Oh man.
you have done nothing till you show up to a show.
Preach.
That's really the truth.
Well-
Because the first time I realized that I don't like acapella in general.
Awesome.
Was listening to you guys.
I'm keeping it real.
First time I
Because
realized I
it
don't like
can tend to it tends in
There's
my
a
mind
sameness.
to be mundane and just kind of and you. It's like how many
all
vocal
vocals.
tricks in a quartet can you hear?
Oh, not a quartet.
And that's the point.
Easy.
When I first
Been married to him for 30 years.
Right.
We got 6 guys in this group.
right, so when I heard
Clearly
Take
discounting
Six,
somebody.
Y'all that don't belong.
like I said, the court no. The bottom line is I encourage anybody if they get anywhere near because it is such a
Yes.
great the live show dwarfs any project that's out there that you've done on your own.
Yes.
Well, interesting that you say that.
That's just real.
early on. Somebody said we were recording with somebody, and they were like recording like stacking their vocals like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. They said, "How come you guys don't do that?" One of the things that we were careful to do is to make sure that what we do on the CD, we can either do that or better live.
Yeah.
Or certainly more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's something that was important to us, not to actually have CDs that we can't live up
Reproduce.
to.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
there it is.
So, what do you think about the music, like live music? Because at some point, you guys used to have musicians in some of your songs.
Instruments, other than the human
Instruments.
voice, because the human voice is an instrument.
That's true.
But yes, yeah, I did the band thing, joined the band,
Exactly.
if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As
some
it were.
some songs and some albums have really lended themselves to doing that.
Yeah.
You know, just depending on what mood we're in and what we want to convey.
As
I mean,
well
this one was
as
supposed to be a cappella.
For doing it as long as we've done, there are times when stuff just gets on your nerve. You got to change it up sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to keep you interested as an
Right.
artist.
Hence the fact that we probably will get rid of 2 guys.
Yeah,
Right. Well, because of me, right.
in order to be a quartet, you're going to have to do what you
Gonna
have
have
to do.
to.
Well, there you have it, Michiko. We might get the whole CD
I'm
in
all
a
for
live
that.
performance.
Eric, do you dance?
I mean,
I'm just
not
saying.
if anyone's looking.
Okay,
Good,
well,
you can join the group.
I was gonna say, I'll check in to see what the choreography will be going forward. We'll be right back.
Oh, yeah.
It's time for the Marla and Dave Doghouse. Marla has something that should put Dave in the doghouse. Dave has something that should put Marla in the doghouse. You decide who gets a biscuit and who gets busted and ends up in the doghouse.
All right, the doghouse
like it.
is the segment where Marla and I literally relay an offense that happened this week that should put the other one in the doghouse. So one of us is going to go in the doghouse. One of us is going to get the biscuit and actually get to stay out and gloat over the other. And you get to vote. So my offense that I think that Marla has committed. Marla is now, first of all, even for the Marla and Dave show, I can't even barely remember how it came to fruition, the idea, but I do.
You better not tell
vaguely
lies over there,
remember
boy.
That Take 6 was offered a radio show. And then
That's true.
And
That
then they were
happened.
like, "Man, I'm not sure
How we can get six
how we
guys.
can get 6 guys to actually literally be on the mic at the same time. It sounds kind of cumbersome." Then he said, "But I can make a show for you and your wife." And this was Halloran Hilton Hill. And I said, "Oh, okay, that's a good idea." And so Halloran and I sat down with Chris, and we came up with the show. And then I get home, Marla says, I came up with that idea. Just like that, Marla says, "You know what? I'm the one who came up with the idea for Iconic."
It's a fact.
I called it Legends.
I called it Legends. When they said
songs that were legendary,
okay.
and she accuses me of taking the idea,
Isn't that a
presenting
No,
it to
I
the
don't.
guys.
It's
and
not
it
an
became
accusation.
iconic.
It's not an accusation. It's a fact. You said you were going to do a new CD, and you were laying in the bed before it even happened. And I said,
He's
what
always
you?
laying in the bed.
He is. It's a problem.
For what
That's
exactly
by the way,
happened?
Claude. I usually want to run my own self into the doghouse just for safety. But the point is that.
You be in
secure
trouble there.
doghouse.
Yeah, right.
Welcome to the doghouse.
My doghouse has a back door, bro. I can just. Whoop. Anyway,
The back door.
the truth of the matter is, we were sitting around, and I said to Dave, I said, you know what you guys need to do? I said, because you were talking about the material, and I said, or what? You were in the inception, and I said, you guys need to do something that's legendary, and you need to include songs people know, but do it Take 6 style. It needs to be called Legends. You went back and talked to him, and he talked to the other 4, and the next thing you know, you said, well, this is what we're going to do. And I said, is it Legends? You were like, nobody really likes that title, so we're going to call it Iconic. And I said, it's okay. My concept, the same way that I believe that Martin Luther King, Coretta had that dream, Martin stole it. She told him in the bed, and then that's what it is. And it went forward just like that. I'm sure of
You
it.
almost had us till you went there. So you get to
also
vote who's
arrange
going to
he
the
never
doghouse.
sleeps?
No,
By
no,
any
no,
chance?
no,
Okay.
no.
I love
listen,
that arrangement.
all I am is just a ball of creative ideas. And by the way, good job, fellas. You did wonders with my concept.
Back to the show.
What's the action?
You'll laugh. You'll learn. You'll learn. You'll get mad. Shut up. You'll get happy. But you won't be bored. This is the Marla and Dave radio show.
Now, my real doghouse offense was that you refused to get glasses. But since you wanted to go there, I did not want
Hey,
to.
the doghouse is over.
As I'm still listen.
So the Legends was below the belt. That was low.
No, listen. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is, Eric, I just lay around and come up all day long. What?
Wow.
You heard me do it here. And I said Iconic collaborations. They'll go back and name it something else. But it'll be a collaboration.
We thought Legends.
Right.
We thought Legends was better. We didn't like that title.
That's how our marriage works. It's okay. Claude will give me credit one time down the road. I was looking for it in the liner notes.
As you were saying that, though, I was like, man, this does sound like it could be plausible.
Yeah, hey, Claude. Claude, I'm trying to tell you what happened behind the scenes. You need to know the truth.
Just saying.
Anyway, so as musicians, for all of you guys, what do you feel like that there's a genre, Eric, you haven't tapped that you really just feel like you could lend your musical genius
Polka.
to?
I think polka is.
Are you
the one
being
that
a funny man right now?
Well, it's just about the only thing I haven't done yet.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Spoken word.
it's got to be a cool way to do it. I mean, Somebody's got to find it.
Hip hop polka.
Okay.
Oh wait, speaking of hip hop, this is another thing fact that you guys might not
This
know.
is just pitiful.
So
When
today,
you say this is pitiful.
the record labels actually get the word about the Billboard that comes out on Wednesday, the charts. So that's why if you can't find it right now, it'll be available Wednesday. That's how we know we're number one in contemporary jazz as album. But we are also number 9
I thought you guys were
in
prophets.
R&B albums, right?
What?
That come out on
Pays to be black.
and we were also on a new hip hop chart as well
Pays to be.
in Billboard.
Hip hop, bruh.
You know what I mean?
How in the world?
Some
Now,
more hip
how
hop
in the world?
Jesus. More hip hop coming.
You know what I mean?
He's iconic.
Man, that's hard to believe.
Jesus is definitely
He's
an icon.
iconic.
He's definitely an icon.
Exactly.
You
So
know
there
what? We
go.
got all kind of chatter going on right now in our chat room. At least I'm following Facebook. So if you guys, for those of you, because again, there's so many streams and feeds, I can't follow them all.
And if you're
but-
scared to call 323-524-2599, I'm sure you're texting away or typing
Yeah, they
away
are.
on Facebook.
And you know what, Rodney? He said, y'all know Marla always considered herself the 7th member, so play along and humor her. Nobody has to play along with
That would
anything.
be the 8th. She is Henrietta the 8th.
You keep kicking Blu2th out of the equation. He doesn't like that. He's our guest.
She is. Okay.
I'm just trying to say. So, polka, what about you guys? Claude, Dave?
Two things.
a
One, it
genre.
would be really amazing to do a Brazilian album.
And I would like that.
And then maybe one that's all vocals and strings.
Vocals and strings.
Yep.
Straight orchestral.
Vocals and strings.
Yep.
Is that the title you're calling
Claire
it?
Fisher style.
That's what I do. I just speak in tag, by the way.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, not just strings, but
no,
Claire
Claire
Fisher style.
Who's that?
Oh, look him up.
He's a very deep.
Come on. I thought you would have had the idea. Apparently not.
Not this one.
Eclectic.
Nope.
She still did.
I would describe.
She still did. It's
we have a
okay.
phone call. Caller,
Hey.
you're on the air with Marla, Dave, Erik, Blu2th, Griggs, and Claude McKnight. What's your question or comment?
Mr. Thomas.
What's up? Who's this?
Milton Slocum.
Milton Slocum.
Welcome
Now,
to our show, Milton.
I promise not to hang up if you play nice today.
Well,
What's your comment, man?
no, man. I just want to ask you, Dave. Do you have any political aspirations?
I do not. You're probably the second person who asked me this week.
Really?
I was in
Wow.
Detroit and I was talking with one of my friends and we were having a political conversation. The people from the table over said, "When are you going to run for office?" I said, "I doubt I'm going to run for office because I
Milton,
probably don't like
We
the
musicians
I'm-
run from offices.
Hilarious.
That's how we do it.
I'm curious to find out what makes you feel that Dave is suited for a life in politics.
Because he has it. He reminds me of President Obama.
Wow.
He has that calm temperament. It seems like nothing bothers the guy, you know. And I really admired him over the years because, you know, he says the right thing. Even though I called and acted a fool one night, he still was able to say, "Hey, man, you know, you don't care."
Diplomacy.
And, you know, you got my vote. So
Hey.
I think it's something you need to think about, Dave, because if I see it, thousands of others see it.
That's a good point. And Milton, just so you
Milton.
know that no matter what happens here in the Madhouse, our driving tenet here is love. So all things are forgiven. Today is a new day, and thanks for calling with that respect and that
Indeed,
conversation
man,
for sure.
Milton
Respect
actually
on
compared
his
me
name.
to Barack Obama.
That's some big shoes, but some
Very.
good
Man,
shoes.
that's
Those are the best.
iconic
That's
right there.
That's
Big
red
Barry.
bottom.
Live itself.
That's red bottom for you right
That's
there.
hallowed ground.
Wow.
Yeah, it is.
Well, thank you, Milton.
So what else? What's going on Facebook, Marla?
Everything.
You and Blu2th are supposed to be interviewing us.
Well, I'm gonna fall back for a minute and let Blu2th just dig you guys open like we did that fish today.
I ain't got no question for y'all.
What Blu2th?
Awesome.
Nothing about going forward. No music. No. What is it?
Question for y'all.
Well, I do. I have questions. My questions are, what happens next from here, and what does it mean to you guys?
Iconic
What?
too.
Well, number one, being on this project, let's talk about what it means. For example, somebody one time asked us, ran up to me after a show and said, a little girl, and she said, my mom said that I think at the time we may have had, you guys may have won 7 Grammys, or she said, whatever it was, she said, I heard that you have, every time you win a Grammy, you get $1 million. You have $7 million. And I was like, that would be nice, but that is not how it works.
Yeah, it's not like the Nobel Prize where you get $1 million when they give you the prize. But no.
That'd be sweet. Do you?
For the Nobel Prize?
Yeah.
You
I did not know that.
Yeah, you get paid.
Yes, I'm on my way.
I got to start doing something great.
Yeah, you better
Prize
talk
right
about it. You better
now.
say something peaceful right quick.
I
You
gotta
better
care a lot more about
pop
the
out
world.
some peace.
Well, I'll put it to you like this. Actually, interestingly enough, when the first album came out, I don't think we were mature enough or surrounded by people who were helping us that we took full advantage of the platform that we had. And so over time, I don't think we allowed our brand to focus in so that we can stay at the level where we first came out, because our first album sold like 1.9 million copies. And from there, we slowly started falling off. And I'm glad that Iconic is now making Take 6 relevant again. That's thing number one. And I now want to focus what it is that we're doing so that we can stay relevant and take advantage like we should have of the first time.
I'd like to help. Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's why people come together, and I think that you're going to help in a lot of ways. You're going to help my show too, because I'm going to have you back as a co-host when Dave travels with the superheroes.
Well, we have a caller again.
Right around the corner
another caller on the line. Caller, you're on with all of us. What's your name and where you're calling from?
Oh, hi. That was quick. Hi, this is Jermaine, and I'm from Los Angeles, California.
What's
Hi,
up,
Jermaine.
Jermaine?
A local.
Hi. Yeah, local. Am I speaking to Dave and Marla?
You are.
You are.
Oh, hi.
Hey.
I'm a long-time fan of Take 6. So
Oh, awesome. Well, Claude is here with
on the
us.
air.
Yeah. So what's your first of all, thank you for being a longtime fan, but do you have a specific question? Do you have the new CD, Iconic?
I do.
Awesome.
I do have the Iconic CD. Yeah, I had a question. I have a 3-part question
Perfect.
regarding the album.
Perfect.
So, well, first, I love the album. I just love it. It's great.
Thank you.
I like the arrangements, and I was wondering how long it took for you to do the project as far as the arranging and the recording of it, and also were there any songs that you wanted to do that you weren't able to do on the album? Any covers that you were thinking of also doing? And the third part of the question was, it's kind of like a technical musical question in that it's about in terms of leading a song, because I noticed a lot of your songs are great when it comes to leading, and they go so well with the arrangement in the song itself. And I was wondering, do you do that on your own, or do you get suggestions or direction from the arranger when leading the song, or is it something you do on your own, or is it a little bit of both?
Those are really good questions, Claude. You want to take the first stab?
Now I got to go back to remember what the first part of the question was.
How long? What was the process? How long did it take?
The process itself.
Length of time.
Wow. It took, I want to say, from beginning till end, maybe 4 months or so.
I think it was
that
about
long.
6.
Yeah, I would say about 4. It wasn't 6.
6,
No,
4?
it definitely
about
wasn't
4
6.
months.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
Gotta get down.
here's the thing, though. The last month to month and a half was the most concentrated portion of it.
Exactly.
In fact, we recorded right up until almost the deadline.
Wow.
You know,
Literally.
Yeah, we were in hotel rooms recording. We were
Blankets
recording.
over our heads.
Oh, absolutely.
All kind of
Acoustic treatment.
Orlux all around us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Having to do parts over again because there was too much noise. I mean, all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, probably that last month and a half was the real recording process. Everything else before that, we had done some things together, but we also took some time off, not because we really wanted to, but because we didn't have the time. And then we had to make the time.
Yeah, we were on the road at the same time. But another interesting thing that was a time factor is as we were doing a lot of extracurricular things. Each of us does different things when we're not with Take Six. But it was difficult to compile some of the recording stems that we were sent from the various members because, like I said before, this was the first project other than maybe 3 or 4 songs where everybody recorded themselves at home.
That's crazy.
In their own studio. So,
That's crazy.
And some of us have been recording for a long time. Some of us have not. So it was a learning curve, and so that was a different thing.
You had to engineer yourself.
You had to engineer yourself, which actually sometimes, if you're not used to it, can interfere with your stylizing or your performance of a song, either a part or lead.
Which means I have to jump in right now because I was the last guy in the group to actually learn how to record using Logic. And I had been playing around for a long time saying, I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it. So I would go to Dave's house to be recorded. And finally one day I was like, damn it, I can't do this anymore.
You can't take the traffic.
The
traffic was the motivator.
For real.
Yeah.
And so I sat down, I got online, I decided the pieces that I needed to buy. I got a Neumann mic. I got an Apogee converter interface and whatnot. I got a bunch of stuff, and I was on YouTube trying to teach myself how to do it. Dave came over and gave me a tutorial a couple of times. He was very patient and everything, and I recorded myself on 5 of the songs.
Wow.
Including my lead on All This Love. And it was crazy.
It's one of his best leads because as you realize that it's on me to get this performance done, at least for me. Claude, what do you think? How did that impact you?
It was both. The crazy thing is I ended up posting a picture of myself one day after doing that lead. I was stretched across my bed, worn out because of the mental part of it.
People don't think
not the vocal
work.
part. Well, yeah, the singing part was work.
It's work.
But having to remember to stay at a certain distance from the microphone.
From the mic, while you're
making
singing.
sure the levels are right.
It's the technical aspect. You can't he can't just be a creative at that moment.
It was crazy. And here's the crazy part. I had done what I thought was this amazing lead, sent my parts to Marcella, who was mixing it, and the like half of the song was corrupted. So I had to go back and re-sing in the spots that were messed up. And what I should have done, looking back, was just redo the entire thing. But I was trying to recapture a feeling and stuff. So when I was done, I was like, all this love, yeah, whatever.
That's going to be interesting. We should have some outtakes of the original solo.
Right.
Oh, man. If I could find it, yeah.
So I think the last part of your question was
there a song you wanted to have on?
So I have what I can remember of the master list that we whittled this list down that I'm about to tell you from a much larger list. Because what we do in our democratic process of choosing songs is if you get at least 4 votes, then you're in.
So you are in politics.
Just
right.
Being in a group for this long is
all
political.
In politics.
Right.
Trust. Yeah, all of us. Yeah.
So here's the list.
Which I think that can be a help or a hindrance on some level because the only reason why I say it in that way is because I think a lot of groups have really distinct things that people do. Take 6 as a whole, each member is so talented and can pull their own. It's hard to. So if one's just trying to go in a completely different or slightly different direction, I think that's rough.
Well, you hit on something. For us, I think what is amazing is because we're a democratic group, we've been able to stay together for 30 years and still like each other.
Yeah.
But
that is the feat.
Yeah, but the problem with that though is when you have one person who's has a distinct vision for a group, usually that group stays on point all the time with whatever that person's vision is.
Right.
Exactly.
What that focus is. Unfortunately, those groups generally only stay together 5-10 years ago. I mean, look at the Beatles. You know,
everybody. You guys do know
Absolutely.
that you're like the Marla and Dave marriage people of the music industry.
So right quick,
dinosaurs.
Quick, the master list was change the world, got to get you into my life, could it be I'm falling in love, minute by minute, Doobie Brothers, where is the love, you've got a friend, back in love, no woman, no cry, nothing but the blood, I would die for you, Prince, Summer Breeze, Not Like This, All This Love, Heart to Heart, Kenny Loggins, Don't Know Why, Yearning.
That needs to go. I think that may have been the one.
It might be you. And as just an aside, Can't Stop the Feeling.
Right. Now, Where Is the Love and Summer Breeze were very close to being done. In fact, Summer Breeze was one of the first songs we talked about.
Yeah.
And it may have been one of the first songs that we voted on and maybe didn't get enough votes. But it was one of the ones that we thought, man, this would be a really cool song to do. And then one of the ones you said, it might be you.
Yeah,
or
it might be
something.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, anyway, thanks for calling. And
Yeah.
and I hope that answered your question. But right before we get out of here, I will say this. Part of the reason why some of the songs got on there is because as we started running out of time, we were like, man, there's things that we already do. Matter of fact, I'm so glad that Roof Garden got on there because as it turns out, that's our tribute to Al Jarreau. You know what I mean? And that was one of the ones that got added at the last minute.
Gotcha.
As you hear that playing out, this is the Marla and Dave Show. We will be right back.
It's time to play the Marla and Dave Love Game. Here are Marla and Dave to explain how it works.
All right, the MaD Love Game is a game that was created by Marla and me. It's played by rolling a single die that has the categories, and the categories are topics that we think impact most relationships. And that is finance, sex,
and communication.
So I'm going to pass this over to, first let's let Erik roll the die.
Come on, baby. Big money, big money.
It's the MaD logo. You get to pick the category.
Yes, that
you
die
can
is
choose.
actually weighted.
No, that's right.
Men,
so
guys usually choose sex, for the record.
So, no, okay, stop leading our guests.
Can't do that.
You can't, right? You can choose whatever you like,
I'm
sir.
going to finances.
There you go.
Nice.
Dave has a...
For 400, Alex.
You see that everything we talk about is in the bed. You see all he wants to do is the problem.
That's also where you seem to do your talking.
All right, here
you're coming
is
up with
the
titles.
question. How much money
When he
does
stands
it
up, he goes
cost
silent.
to raise a child from birth to 17 in an
What?
average household?
Well, that's a question.
Yes,
I
and
pay
by the
child
way,
support,
I'll
I can
remind
tell you.
everybody that all the answers on these cards are answers that were actually from the PEW, the Pew Research Center. So the answer is legitimate, but there is a further discussion question. So mess up in your seat ejection.
So here are your options. The question again, how much money does it cost to raise a child from birth to 18 in an average household? $85,000, $190,000, $291,000.
Am I supposed to answer that?
Yeah. You roll. What do you think?
291.
Yeah, on average. That
Whatever
means
the
that
highest number is what it is.
I'm gonna go to 290.
From birth to 18, I'm going now. I'm at $500,000.
$500,000, 1.5.
Yeah.
Claude, what do you think? Do you think he's correct?
We almost died with
I
that
think
in
he's
college.
correct. I pay child support. And
Hey man, I'm not mad at you. We paid for Syracuse. We barely made it out with our skin. I'm already have abrasions, financial abrasions.
Indeed,
abrasions.
the answer is on average it costs $291,000, and this game came out 3 years ago, so this
More.
was as of 3 years ago.
Okay, so it is more.
$291,000 to raise a child from birth to 18 in America.
Wish I
So
was a child.
it's much cheaper to buy a box of condoms. Just a suggestion. Not telling you what to do.
So the cool
That's
thing
an
about
entire
this
box.
game,
A
Only
box.
one of them is what you need to
Just a
prevent that.
box.
when you're playing with your friends, to get the discussion going, because that's where you have the fun. The further discussion question for this card is: should financial status be a determining factor before you decide to have children?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think most people actually
Okay,
look
now,
at it that way?
There's an African proverb.
Oh, no,
I'm
you
just
didn't,
saying,
Mr.
I'm just
Tense.
saying that there is an African proverb that that says babies bring their own money. They actually say that when you have kids, you are blessed because you had the kids, and they bring their own blessings.
Okay, you said blessings, but you also
Well,
said
those-
money. Which one is it? Because
It
there's
is-
a whole
it-
different.
It's the same thing. They
Because my
bring-
kids' wallets have been
Clearly,
freaking
that
empty.
African,
They're
that
basically-
African
I
proverb,
got kids with empty
They're
wallets.
basically saying
reach
that
my
God
house.
gives
Right.
you.
We're
It is
white.
an African proverb. So it basically says that God will give you what it takes to take care of a child if He gives you a child.
I'm not even going to buck that because we've had some horrific challenges with our children, our
God
adult
always comes
children,
through.
and some
Did
kind
they
of way
die of starvation?
they did not.
There you go.
They're
They
here,
almost died from getting their butts kicked, but yeah.
they're here.
Well, He gave you the belt. He gave
He
you
did.
the
He did give us a
extension
strap.
cord.
We have a strap.
He
We
gave
do.
you
Indeed. You can
twigs.
get your
He gave you
own-
the trees of the field.
You can get your own
Gave you the
Mad
Weeping
Love game
Willows.
to play at home with your friends by going to www.com. No,
I got mad
just
love
joking.
for you.
The marlandave.com, and you click on the Mad merch, and you'll find the Mad Love game. Man, jeez, back to the show.
David is a thinker.
I never do anything without thinking about it first.
Marla is a feeler.
I basically wear my personality on my sleeve.
But when Marla and Dave get together, it's like a match dancing with a firecracker. This is the Marla and Dave radio show on the Universal Broadcast
That's how.
Network.
Now
You
that
know,
my
all the-
tongue is
all of it.
untied, we
How-
have to do a quick poll break. This is the
Whoa,
break for the
I
poll
don't like how
question
that sounds at all.
for this week. Last week, the poll question was, should teachers remove analog clocks from the classroom? We did a whole
What?
piece on that because in high school students in the UK were complaining that they couldn't read the analog clock
Whoa.
because
This
they're
is
so
school?
used to
Yeah, they're taking
Isn't
them
that
out.
where
Digital-
you teach
there's-
people things
Not
that
they're
they
anymore.
so
don't
used
know?
to looking
There's
down at
also
their
no more
phone
handwriting.
and just seeing
Oh,
the,
yeah,
the
that's been
numbers.
for a few years, right?
Right. Now there's no
There's
more
no-
analog
no
clocks.
cursive.
There's no class
No
called handwriting?
No.
Wait, that's a clock? Awesome.
So
I
they,
know
So
this
it's
is
only
something like
digital.
stressed
this,
out.
but
Only
I
digital.
didn't-
by
I don't
having
even
to
know
look
what
at an
this is.
analog clock. So they had to actually take a vote for the teachers union.
Come on,
Should
man.
we remove
Come on.
analog clocks and just replace them with digital clocks?
Are they going to put
So
a
we
digital
asked that
face on Big
question.
Ben, too?
Maybe. We asked that question, and your options were yes, hashtag time keeps on ticking, or no, hashtag stop the clock. It was pretty much a landslide for no, you should not remove analog.
79%.
21% actually said yes. Man, that's spooky.
I believe we should reinstitute the sundial, actually. Go back to our roots
You
Get rid of
know
the
a
internet
lot of really
altogether.
important random information. I'm
in
impressed.
the classroom.
So
Yeah,
the poll
like
question for
the
this week is,
proverb.
does it matter that Trump lied about paying hush money to Stormy Daniels? Your options are yes,
Yes,
no, or
or you
I don't care.
I just don't give a damn.
He's Trump. Does anything matter?
Yeah, he's kind
It's
of
not him.
rewriting
It's to the
rule
people,
book.
though. We're asking, should it matter to us?
Should it
Oh.
matter? Is that the question?
Does
Yeah,
it
does
matter?
it matter?
Does it
Does it matter
matter?
to you as an individual,
'cause
which
it doesn't make me
collectively
think
we
any
make
less
all
of
the
Trump.
citizens?
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's not about our image. Those of
No.
us who have even common sense, we think one way about him,
Yeah,
and
he's
we
not
see
gonna
him in
do
orange.
anything to make me think anymore.
Orange is the new dumb. But go ahead.
Wow.
Used to be synonymous
yeah,
with
so you
vitamin
find
C.
that poll question on our website
You
again,
gotta-
marlandave.com, or on our
He asked that
social
publicly?
networks,
can speak up
network
publicly.
pages.
My amendment rights.
Anyway, we're going to get right back to the show.
Can you handle the truth? This is modern American dialogue in a mad world from two unique, fresh, transparent perspectives. This is the Marla and Dave radio show.
We're getting mad. Okay, don't panic. I know you guys
Hey,
have
man.
so
Y'all
many
mad?
questions here, and Sandra doesn't want us to get out of here. She needs to ask you and Dave this: what is the hardest? What was the hardest to record from the iconic CD? What song? Which one?
That'd be tough to know since we recorded them all separately.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you from my perspective, the hardest one was Sailing, and I'll tell you why. That was one of the last ones recorded, and for some reason, as we were getting in that panic stage, because our label was like, guys, we
We
leave
need it
you
right
alone.
now.
You're producing this on your own. You're arranging this on your own. We don't have any input except for the fact that you got to turn it in on time.
Right.
As we got to the end, I think it was Vin's bass. For some kind of way, the
Oh,
way he was
yeah.
bouncing it down and kept sending it to me, it wasn't in the correct format. And I think he sent it to me maybe 5 or 6 times. Till finally, which was hilarious, I got my laptop, I was working on something else, and went to his room in the hotel.
Right down the hall. Okay.
And had to fix some things that needed to be fixed because for some kind of way, and Vin's been doing this for a long time, recording himself, so he really knows what he's doing. But at the same time, it just wasn't working out.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of
technology can be good and bad.
Here.
There's pros and
And so for me, that was the hardest one.
Especially
I
here.
don't know. It sounds like Claude
So
might have a
Claude,
different answer.
would it be fair to say you got over did you get the new, the newness off of your process, your technical process of
Oh, it's
recording? So if you had
crazy.
to do another one right now, you'd be a little
we
bit
got
better.
2 versions.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
2 versions.
Yeah, I mean,
he's a recording
I'm
version.
a recording virgin, but
Would be
there
crazy.
was
Anymore.
there was so much
You got
to
gangbang.
do. Oh wow! There was
For his
so
first
much
time.
to do, and I couldn't let it overwhelm me.
Yeah.
You know, so it's on the job training.
Yeah.
And when you can record 24/7 because you're at home,
Right.
it is a little different than being on somebody else's time.
I was gonna say
somebody
time
else's dime,
management
too.
always creates stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was up till
Sure.
2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning very easily each night doing it, redoing stuff,
Yeah.
doing stuff wrong, doing all kinds of stuff. Oh, yeah.
Now I would give this kudos to those of us who are married and have families. It's difficult because your family and your relationships have other demands on your time. So sometimes you know that you need to be in the studio and you're kind of stressing out because you're not there. So kudos to our families for giving us the time away from them to do what we had to do. And as usual, so we have another one in right here on the UBN chat room. Mary, a Take 6 fan, says, hello, congrats on the new album. I love it. I've been a fan since I was a kid, and I want to thank you, Take 6, for being so generous with your music. You have been my musical role models.
Hey.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. And
That's worthy
Michiko
response.
says she's back in Tokyo.
All right.
Okay. Well, I'm sure that we'll get a chance to see you again soon, Michiko. Eric, I want to direct my attention to you at
What's
this
up,
moment.
homie? Hey, what's crap?
So, what's next for you? What are you working on right now at this moment? And
I am kind of back in the saddle. You
All
know,
right.
I kind of went through a period where music just wasn't that important to me.
really,
Yeah, that happened.
what? Any other creative endeavor or just life?
Comedy, stand up got really fun.
Wow.
I really
Where
enjoy
did you,
that.
where
I
did
get
you,
more
was
of a
that
kick out
open
of it.
mic kind of thing, or
I've done the main stage of the Comedy Store 4 times.
what?
See,
Yeah,
y'all are playing.
This
Y'all are
guy
sleeping.
is a jack of
I've-
all trades.
yeah,
And still doesn't play the harmonica.
and still.
I don't know.
I think that'd be funny.
So that got good to me. And then I was doing some screenwriting, just kind of learning some other things. I
Right.
got more into the content business.
Mm.
Built and am still building Blu2th University, which is an educational source that combines. I needed something that calls for more parts of me than the musician in me, because I actually do other stuff.
Right.
I've just been doing music my whole life, and music don't love me like I love it.
Right.
Mm.
Except now it does, because I don't feel the same about music. no more.
Right. You have options.
It wasn't gonna change.
Let me say something.
Somebody got to change.
Let me say something that's interesting about that. I tell people who ask me my advice all the time about relationships, it is seriously, life is better when you realize you have options and your relationships can become
Yeah,
richer
absolutely.
because you're not desperately trying to make one thing work.
Are you advocating open relationships?
I didn't say open marriage, but I'm advocating that you not
Right.
tie yourself, you not try to force a square peg into a round hole.
Yeah, I think
How does that sound, Dave?
Well,
I
most
think
holes in
expecting.
relationship
Whoa,
are kind
well,
of
guys,
just joking.
I am working so hard here to save this show,
No, you can't.
and you guys.
You can't save us. You can't save us, Eric.
I've noticed.
How did you Bluetooth? How did that even come about? Who did that?
Bluetooth is a transducer that takes things that you cannot see and transduces them into a form that you can hear.
Transduction. Look
Yeah.
at there.
Okay.
That's what I do. I take the things around us, the life experiences,
Transduce it.
intangibles that you cannot see, and I take those and those feelings and I place them in a musical form that you can hear.
Okay.
Transducky. I like it.
Well, I don't know if that's the way I would say it.
I love it. So here's a
But,
question for
yes.
Claude. Here's a question for Claude. Claude, if we do another iconic 2,
When?
what song would you most want?
Has
on
to
the-
be
on the
there.
Second.
What
iconic?
song could you can't do another one without this song being there? What is it?
Man, millions of songs. We don't have a lot of time, do we? Let's see.
No, we got
That is a
2 minutes.
I'm gonna throw Yearning out there for me for sure. I think Take 6 would
I
murder
love
that.
Yearning. We would murder it, but if the question is for me, that wouldn't be my song. That would be somebody else's song.
Yeah.
So we get it in there anyway. So probably Heart to Heart, the Kenny
Kenny
Loggins tune.
Loggins.
Okay,
Ooh.
that I know the one I picked. That it came to me just now.
This question wasn't for you.
No,
Oh,
no.
go ahead. What's the song?
No, no, but
Oh, right.
but because
She put a rank on it.
no, because you're here, it made me think about it because it was James Ingram.
Which
It was
song?
it was Fine 100 Ways.
Yeah.
I couldn't see us doing that song, even though that's one of my favorite songs of all time. Something about
I
it.
can see it.
Me too.
You can see Take Six doing
Yes,
it.
I can see it.
absolutely.
I can see it.
Wasn't it?
I
Wasn't
can hear
that
it
That
right
was
now.
the song that you said.
I'm
yeah.
listening to it right now.
I mean, I love it. Trust me,
I
that's
think
my
I
jam.
think Take Six as well.
But I agree that Heart to Heart would be a good one because it kind of
It's already got the
has
rhythm
the
and all that stuff.
and- yeah. And
Yeah, that's it.
the arrangement almost lends itself to what it is that we do.
What about you?
Yeah.
What couldn't you?
I think mine might be Yearning.
Yearning with yeah.
That's
What
the
did we up
cold
there?
record right there.
What about you? One song that you hear.
Ooh, you want to do that to me
Yeah,
right now?
I am. Throw your song in the ring.
Ooh, song in the
We'll talk
ring.
about it tonight in the bed.
Well, when you say we, you,
Not you
can
and
you
me.
say me and Dave?
It's
We'll
the
talk
Marla
about-
and Dave show. Everything we decide in the bed.
Marla's
We're
having some
clear.
problems
I just
today.
want everything to be clear.
He and I will
I'm gonna read
discuss
the
it.
tabloids tomorrow. What? I mean, my favorite song probably wouldn't fit.
What's your favorite song?
My favorite song is actually "Glory of Love," Peter Cetera and David Foster.
It's a great song, though.
It's a
That's
great
my
song.
favorite song.
Because melodically and whatnot.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
We did. I think we've talked about some Chicago songs over the
Chicago
years.
would definitely be in that.
And
Chicago.
some Bee Gees songs as far as
Yeah.
like,
Chicago's also one of my
And
favorite
that
groups.
David
Yep.
Foster,
Yep.
Peter Cetera era, the Terra era.
Hold Me Now.
Yeah, man. That one too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's some. There's wow.
Yeah,
This
there's
is
some
why.
stuff
guys.
There's some
We had a
classic
great
records in there.
time with this discussion.
Where can
Thanks
they find
to our
you?
guests.
Where can they find you?
At
Online?
Blu2th, BLU2TH.
And Take Six Official.
Take Six Official on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. And you can find me on Claude Mac on all of those as well.
You know
There
where
you
we
go.
are.
Absolutely.
And by the way, I have a couple things. I have some shows in mind. I want, if you're a person, by the way, who has an odd fetish, I'm looking to interview you. And when I say an odd fetish, like I like to watch the pimple poppers, but then there's also people who listen to ASMR. So the people who chew and smack
talking
and they
with
love
their
that
mouths
and
open.
they
That's
that
You're talking.
right. I want to talk to them,
That's
and I also
hilarious.
want to talk to stay-at-home dads. So we have some really cool shows that are coming up. These are just conversations that I would love to have here in the Madhouse. So
Get
stay
iconic.
open. Get
Anywhere
iconic.
music is sold.
Number one.
Number one, baby.
One.
We'll
Anyway, it's
see
been a
you
great
guys
show. See you guys next
next
week.
It's been the Marla and Blu2th show.